Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have with us some of our favorite guests from the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial. Joining us is Neil O'Connell. He is the executive director. How you doing there, Neil?
I'm doing fantastic, Drew. How are you this morning?
I'm doing just fine now that you folks are in here and joined by your colleague, Trevor Wessman-Lavelle, the marketing and communications director. Trevor, all good in your world?
Absolutely. Yeah, coming on off the Veterans Day high.
We're going to talk about that. We can't wait. And joined by my very wonderful and talented co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers Inc., celebrating their 20th anniversary in 2024. I know you were saying that you were looking forward to continuing the conversation with these gentlemen.
I was just saying to Trevor, I feel like they were just here 8 seconds ago. So I didn't fulfill my assignment of getting out there because you came back so soon, So Drew, you should really, tell me so I don't look like this.
Well, you can't change how you look. Anyway,
That's true. That's true.
Or how you
it's
act.
a whole other conversation.
It's a whole other conversation. Neil, first of all, and Trevor, congratulations on an unbelievably successful Veterans Day event. Why don't you, Neil, tell us how it went?
Well, overall, we had one of our most highly attended Veterans Day ceremonies in that, as long as I can remember.
Great.
The public showed out in force to honor our Vietnam veterans. We had a beautiful San Diego day. The weather was great. The two gentlemen who shared their stories were spectacular. You couldn't hear a pin drop in the audience over there atop Mount Soledad. And the after stories and the compliments and the feedback we've received from many of our friends has been spectacular. So we thank everybody in San Diego for helping us promote that, and we thank our community for showing up in force, honoring our Vietnam veterans.
Yeah. And you were talking about the two stories were a little bit different from each other. How do you think they impacted people in different ways?
Well, first off, I think from Robert Brewer's story, who as a young lieutenant serving as an advisor with the Vietnamese Army, his story came down to very, very critical timing on saving his life by probably a matter of hours.
Wow.
As he was being very close to being overrun. And a U.S. Army Ranger, Airborne Ranger, and then over on the our honoree, Jim Bettinger, who we presented a plaque to. Jim's a Navy commander, had to dump his plane over Laos, him and his pilot, and were captured. And what Jim endured, he shared a lot of lighthearted stories, but also went right to it as terms of being in captivity, being shackled, having his hands tied behind his back, his head covered with a bag, and all the other things. But he made it somewhat comical to a certain, I shouldn't say comical, but he
brought some lightness and levity.
He put a
to
little
it
bit
somehow.
of light, yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful. I just wanted to take a step back too, so we're talking to the folks from Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial. Can you tell us about your mission for those who didn't listen to the podcast? Shame on you out there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Our mission is to honor our nation's veterans, both living and deceased. That's a unique marker for our memorial in particular and our mission from every branch of the military, and preserve their legacy. We do that by displaying right now, I think more than 6,000 black granite plaques lining 14 walls surrounding the memorial.
And the living and deceased, that's unique to, Drew told me, but my memory, is that unique to California? Is that unique in the nation?
In the world.
In the world. Okay, great. So a little bit bigger than California. Okay.
Well, the whole premise makes sense. If you think about it, you want to recognize the folks who have served while they're still alive, and they can see it. And certainly a recognition for them with their family, their kids, their grandkids, great-grandkids, and there's Grandpa's plaque. I think it's just
in the world. That's amazing.
It's spectacular on that for 75 different reasons. So, Neil, great success, biggest turnout ever for Veterans Day. Do you do like exit surveys to say how many of you, this is the first time you've been at the memorial? Do you have any idea if there were some rookies that were there for the first time?
I have to say, we rented 600 chairs, and there was easily 100 folks, maybe up to 200 surrounding the lawn there.
Right.
And in addition to our shuttle service and our golf carts that help folks get up the hill, we had many people strolling in from our off-site parking lots down the street. So I would venture to say that within our core following of our base, there's probably a good 400 to 500 others that were just participating for the first time. However, what made this one particularly special is we had 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, Vietnam Veteran Association. These men were very, very moved. They were our guests that day, along with probably another 60 to 70 other Vietnam veterans. So I think all in all, we had about 150 Vietnam veterans present from all services. So it really made a special day for everybody. And the crowd was very appreciative and respectful, gave them applauses when they were called to stand.
Yeah, and as they should, Trevor, we were talking about that, before last month when you folks were on. For those who don't know this, and I'm not sure how you could not know this, it was absolutely abhorrent how the Vietnam vets were treated when they came back. But just absolutely unconscionable. I will say that'll never happen again for 75 different reasons in this aspect of it. How did, I'll start with you on this, Trevor, and you can deal with it too, Neil. How did those vets, when they were in that situation, 150 or whatever from different services, react to their, being welcomed by this group? Tearful, imagine?
It was, I think, tearful, solemn, grateful, surrounded by dignified. To have, and especially to have that group assembled together, and therefore having this dramatically larger impact and visibility to the rest of the crowd brought that much more levity to the to the event. And even from the get-go, with the event launching by our MC Mark Bailey, simply stating to them, we got you. We know what you went through when you came back. We know from Robert Brewer's comments, being in the belly of an Air Force plane on return at the end of his tour or their tours, being told to take their uniforms off because that was going to put them into, the unconscionable visibility of those who didn't, were absolutely against the participation and were vocal about it and even physical about it, and just the deplorable treatment that that those troops saw upon return of simply following their orders.
Exactly, Neil. How'd you feel about all that?
To echo some of Trevor's sentiments there. Where we sit, you can see the reaction to the people. And as I mentioned, you couldn't hear a pin drop. The Vietnam veterans that were in attendance were extremely moved, no question about it. When we called it at the end where the service song medley is played and each member of the service stands.
Each branch.
Prior to that, Phil had called out, Phil Kendrow, who was our
Philly boy.
Board, was bad and clean up there at the end. He called all Vietnam veterans to please stand. And the crowd gave a very, very long round of applause. And in fact, the whole crowd stood as well to thank them. It was very moving, and we couldn't be more proud at Mount Soledad. In addition to that, the 6,600 plaques, there's over 2,000 Vietnam veterans on the walls that we can talk about.
Wow.
No, I think it's phenomenal. We're chatting with Neil O'Connell. He's the executive director of the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial, joined by his colleague, Trevor Wessman-Lavelle, the marketing communications director. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast on our 17th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We're broadcasting from the wonderful Mission Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch, and Mission Fed's been just doing great things for San Diegans for more than 6 decades, joined by my very cool co-host, and that is Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc. We'll be celebrating their 20th anniversary in 2024. Kristen?
Sure. So as an ED, I'm gearing up for this as well, but I was wondering what your Giving Tuesday campaign looks like.
Yes. Well, we've got a couple of different channels we're working on, and one particularly I think is very important for everybody to understand is the wonderful community that we live in San Diego. And if you visit Mount Soledad and you get up there on one day in the morning by yourself and you see this beautiful expanse that surrounds our city, basically we enjoy this because of what they gave. And what they gave is their time as servicemen and women, whether it was 4 days or 44 years of service. We owe them a debt of gratitude. Our call to action is simply this: take a second, pause, and think about the freedoms that we enjoy today. At Mount Soledad, what we do is we honor and recognize those sacrifices of those men and women that have made that possible atop this beautiful memorial, this one-of-a-kind memorial in the United States of America. And it's right here. So Trevor has some other really, really, I would say, emotional calls that could potentially get people to understand that this memorial doesn't just exist, on its own. Mm-hmm. People are behind us, and we're asking more to join us and understand our mission.
Yeah, Trevor, let's chat about that when we come back from break, about your thoughts on that. I also want to talk about the big 70th anniversary celebration that's kicking off in 2024. Kristen, you're only 50 years behind, but so when you get to your 70th, I think we'll all be there.
One day. Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds good. When we return with our good friends from Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial, you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We are now in our 17th year. We're brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, broadcasting from the Mission Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed for more than 6 decades been doing great work, great things for San Diegans, joined by our good friends at Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial, Neil O'Connell, the executive director, and Trevor Wessman-Lavelle, marketing and communications director, joined by my very, very capable and cool
Capable.
co-host.
I haven't heard that one before. That's nice.
You wrote that
capable.
Kristen,
Write that down.
You know what? She plays so coy. She wrote that into my script. For God's sake, over here.
I don't know whether to be offended. Like, of course I'm capable. I don't know. You're trying out new adjectives. I should just be happy for the.
You're happy. It's a positive.
Exactly. They're going to get just worse and worse as we do this.
We'll see what happens on this. Kristen is the executive director of San Diego Writers Inc. on this. But right before we went to break, we were chatting about Giving Tuesday and the campaign. Talk about that, Trevor, from your perspective.
Yeah, this Giving Tuesday is actually a launch of what our messaging is really going to be throughout 2024. And as Neil was relating earlier, this connection between the freedoms that physically, tangibly, we get to experience from that mountaintop, from the top of Mount Soledad, 360-degree panoramic views of San Diego County, and then turning around and looking at what stands at the center of that park area up there, and that is this privately owned, privately supported memorial with the faces, names, and stories of 6,600 veterans who sacrificed and served around the world to provide those freedoms. And so whether it is the skyline, whether it is the coastline, whether it's the mountains to the east or everything in between, it's this recognition of the connection between the two. Mm-hmm. And so what we'll be doing is sort of our campaign is going to feature an interplay between a more descript, a more focused view of those faces, those names, and those stories connected to endless freedoms that are defined by all of us individually, who, as citizens of this country, we have been provided for by these who have served in defense of them.
Mm-hmm. And, I'm all about your mission and everything like that. And obviously you have a beautiful place that is in San Diego, one of the most expensive places in the country. And so there, financially, that's a lot to maintain. Are you trying to get to a specific dollar amount during Giving Tuesday?
Yeah, absolutely. We're targeting for Giving Tuesday, we're targeting $1 million.
$1 million.
$1 million.
Okay. Great.
Wow. You know what? Kristen's going to make the first $500,000 donation.
You did this to me. You've done this to me on the show before.
Last time we were together.
So that gets you $1 million.
Mark that
are
tape.
awesome. Thank you.
You've made it, and we're done.
Oh,
Thank you. I
my
appreciate
goodness.
that. Has your husband fainted, or he said that's the last time you get to go on Drew's show?
He'll probably be just like everything else. Like, I guess we're doing a thing.
We offer a great payment plan.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great. Talk to us about the 70th anniversary in 2024. What can we expect?
Well, we're going to be, as we mentioned, this particular campaign, which we think is really we're going to leverage to elevate how we communicate, who we communicate with, what channels and what media. But we're also going to be creating events. One of the key opportunities that we see at the memorial. If you've been there, you know this beautiful landscape and the surrounding views, or basically the backdrops, or what can be backdrops to events. We want to expand the experience opportunities that the memorial provides to be able to include educational events, networking events. We had a great event with the San Diego Military Advisory Council and the Veterans Beer Club last month. They had close to maybe 275, 75, maybe 100 guests up there for an event one evening, and we want to create more events, but what we also want to do is delve into the opportunity that the memorial provides as a source of information, as a source of historical reference and recognition.
Sure.
And so we're going to be looking to, and again, this is coming based on the fact that we can do it at the memorial because it's owned outright. It's a piece of private property within the Mount Soledad Natural Park, and therefore we can create these events and work with our partners around the community to create instances in which people can come and learn from, or learn about, or learn things relative to the veteran stories that are out there.
Beautiful.
You have a whole bunch of activities that focus on not just what we're doing with Giving Tuesday and of course the anniversary. Talk about your volunteer program, which I know is the bread and butter of what you do. Neil, I'll let you do that.
We have an extensive volunteer opportunity, and by that I mean, just imagine it's Friday morning, it's the end of the week. You want to come up and get a little fresh air. You come to Mount Soledad, and you're going to take a 3-hour volunteer shift as a docent. On a morning like this, it is typical that you will interact with probably about 300 to 400 people in a 3-hour window. We offer that to our any folks who would like to help us in that capacity. That is one of the most rewarding volunteer positions that we have. Right now, we're very thankful for the 32 docents that we have. And we have typically 2 to 3 on each segment of the day. We break the day into thirds, and it's very, very easy. It's extremely rewarding, and you'll meet people from around the world, young and old. And that experience in itself, folks at the end of the week, when they go home, or if they're having a glass of wine with their loved one or whoever, they're just saying, gosh, you wouldn't believe the people I met today. And it sticks with you.
Now, do you have a visitor sign-in so you know where people come from, where they're all over the world visiting San Diego and they've heard about this iconic place? Do you have a visitor sign-in?
Well, what our docents do, it's the personal interaction.
Okay.
So the docents actually, they make a tally and they do a daily report. So what our vision is also that's tied into what Trevor's alluding to on our 70th anniversary is the technology aspect. There's various platforms, and we're engaging right now in some really good conversations with some wonderfully qualified tech folks who can capture these stories in addition to just the stories of the men and women on the walls, but also the interaction of loved ones that visit the memorial, a testimony to what their experience is. Why are they there? They're visiting their dad, their mom, their son, their daughter, or their great-grandfather. And so the aspects of integrating technology into the experience, that's one pursuit that we are right now, we're on the trail for.
Will they have, so they'll be videotaped, will they be audio taped, and their experiences, and will that be something people can play back when they go to the memorial or just on the website? And the reason why I'm getting at that, have you been to maybe we asked this before, and I apologize if I forgot. Have you been to the World War II Memorial in New Orleans?
I have not, but I have studied that system, and that's kind of the driving force for what we see our capability.
Yeah, it's a great
opportunity.
I've been honored to be there several times, and they have these audio things, little quick 1 or 2 minute little blurb, sometimes from the people that were actually fighting, if they're still alive or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, absolutely, and even to go, so far as to reach further into our community through our education initiatives and be able to leverage that kind of technological presentation of those stories into scripted narratives of multiple veterans who served in one particular theater, one particular conflict, or the interwoven cultural stories that military or any civil service really represents. I mean, that the memorial is an apt cross-section of our community from a cultural standpoint. Every race, creed, color, religion is represented there. And that really is the backbone to our mission, that we are 100% agnostic to our mission in honoring all veterans, and preserving their legacies and telling their stories. And so, again, a partnership with a technology firm, being able to create these collective narratives and be able to provide tours is going to be a huge opportunity for us to expand that connection to those who visit, but also to those who are simply interested in the memorial in general.
Yeah, and it's so like what we're doing here. We know the audio is so powerful, and sometimes audio is more powerful than when it's not with video.
Sure.
And you're hearing this voice. We're chatting with our good friends from the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial, Neil O'Connell, Executive Director, and Trevor Wessman-Lavelle, Marketing and Communications Director for the Memorial. I'm Drew Schlosberg. As you are hearing another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year as we broadcast from the Mission Fed Credit Union Studios. The Mission Fed's doing just wonderful things, as they have been for more than 6 decades, joined by Kristen Fogel, my co-host. She is the Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc. So, Neil, I'm not sure if I've asked you this question before, and if I have, then I apologize. You get to answer it again. It is now 5 years from now, okay? We're at 2028. You got this great technology going on. You've probably taken over 3 more mountains in this aspect of it. Where do you see the memorial in 5 years?
That's a fantastic question, and we've got some really creative ideas. Our board of trustees, our marketing director, myself, and my team, we've actually getting ready to unveil our strategic plan going forward. But we've got some concepts that are very similar to what you see throughout the country, where you've got a collaborative partnership with a municipality for educational purposes. And if there's possibilities where you have like an opportunity like the Midway is right now creating wonderful, wonderful partnerships to rebuild the pier,
yes,
Freedom Park.
Yep.
There's an opportunity for folks to experience that when that is built, a very, very beautiful concept they have a vision of. And we see similar opportunities for our Mount Soledad Memorial as well. Our constraint in terms of development is the fact that we only have one small piece of land. However, what we've learned in the past couple of years is just the immense amount of visitors that come to the memorial. Now, we know that our walls will be filled in about 7 years, and we have the opportunity to build 2 more walls that could hold 2,000 more plaques, which might get us to about, or not 2,000, 1,500, which get us to about a cap of about 10,000 plaques. Those are plaques. Now, plaques could also have 2 photos.
That's right.
Names of 6 or 7 individuals or a ship or a squadron or what have you. But honestly speaking, we're excited about the future. Our main push right now is just getting the public to come to the memorial, understand what we're doing, learn about the men and women. The social impact that is experienced through group organizations who visit us is tremendous. It's multiplied tenfold by the fact that you've got this interaction with anybody within the group is going to identify with somebody on those walls.
Yeah, with that question. Kristen, I got an education question.
I do, yes. Can you talk a little bit about your education and schools and with the youth population?
Yeah, what we are looking to do, and this is in 5 years, what we see is a fully fledged education program, supported by an education program management team, where we are able to act as a partner, as a resource for all levels of education. Right now, currently, we have visits from schools that are either there to recognize Veterans Day, veterans in general, Memorial Day, but they're also there to understand what is the importance of honoring veterans. What is the importance of a place like Mount Soledad, of even a place like the Midway, and why is a project like the Freedom Park important? Why is it important to have a place where we can revere and honor these men and women who served and sacrificed? And most recently we were scheduled to have some kids up from Trinity Christian School out in East County, and unfortunately we had our first rain event, air quotes.
Did it rain like what, about 3 droplets?
Right.
It's a lot for us San Diegans. We're just not used to hurricanes of that magnitude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These were 9-year-old kids that were going to come out. There were about 50 of them, and we were going to conduct a scavenger hunt that kind of tells a bit of a cross section cultural story about women serving and them going in and hunting for Jackie Cochran, talking about Dory Miller, the first, likely the first real hero of World War II, Wally Schirra, who's up on our walls, and even the six presidents that we have who all served in our United States Armed Forces, to even further depth conversations that we've been having with San Diego State University, a couple of departments there that are interested in looking at the memorial as a central source of information, of narrative about service and about military history and even veterans affairs.
No, that's great. Neil, what can our listeners do to support your efforts?
Well, first and foremost, Drew, thanks again for offering the platform here to be able to tell our story. As we wrap up one of our best years in terms of visitors, overall interaction, it must be understood that this beautiful memorial, it's all created and supported by a wonderful team of individuals. We have a very short, team here. Right. We all wear a lot of hats. We carry a lot of backpacks. We need your support. We ask any donation in any way, shape, or form, in kind, stocks, bequests, online donations, one-on-one meetings with myself. I would love to spend time with anybody and have a discussion about how we can honor you as well as a donor, because we've got some very special opportunities in the form of black granite benches, bricks, membership, sustaining member, recognition platforms right at the beautiful memorial. Reach out right to me directly, Neil O'Connell at soledadmemorial.org. And I'm even willing to publish my phone number right now, 619-838-2964.
And I got to tell you, having worked with this wonderful gentleman for a while, and now with Trevor coming on, Neil means it. And I don't mean to patronize you on this, Neil, but I've never met somebody who was just so magnanimous and so honest and loyal to what you do. And so it's one of the reasons why we can't have you on enough on our Spotlight show. It's just that important to do that. And kudos to both of you, for that. And we are wishing you nothing but a very successful Giving Tuesday, terrific holiday season. And let's get you teed up early in January to talk about the results of this and what you have moving forward. What do you think?
Sounds great.
Sounds fantastic. And thank you all so much. We wish you all a great Thanksgiving with your families. Take a moment, come up to the memorial. It's going to be a Santa Ana wind coming in. You'll have beautiful visibility. And thanks again, Drew. We look forward to coming back. Kristen, thanks a lot.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. We've been chatting with Neil O'Connell, Executive Director of Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial, joined by his colleague, Trevor Wessman-Lavelle, the marketing and communications guru for the organization. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.